Today on Farm Finds, we're going to check out a late 60s Pontiac model that was produced for only 1 year. Welcome back to Farm Finds. I'm here with my friend Mike, and he is going to share about his Pontiac.
Yeah, it's a 1969 Pontiac Custom S, a 1 year only make for Pontiac, kind of between the Tempest and the LeMans for as far as kind of the level of trim and engine and all that good stuff. So my parents bought this in 1971 up in Omaha, Nebraska. Pretty salty roads up there. My dad drove it back and forth to work on the highway, and my mom used it to sell Avon also growing up, and so became very rusty over that time. And so I would ride also with my dad to my grandma's farm by Trumbull, Nebraska, and ride with him to go to the co-op and get salt blocks for cows. And so my earliest memories of cars is this car. 1988, the timing gear went out on it, and so it sat in my grandma's field for about 8 years. And then when I was 14, brought it home on a trailer and used my very limited knowledge of restoration at that time. So used a belt sander to sand down the paint on it. It was blue at that point. Sanded down all of the vinyl top studs, and so got it all sanded down, and then used a screen and Bondo in attempts to fix quarter panels and rust, and then actually found a GTO hood. So this hood's from a GTO, so that's not original. It would not have had scoops originally on it, but besides that, the outside is what it would have been originally. Palladium silver with a black vinyl top, then Rally 2 wheels. Those actually were added later. It had hubcaps originally on it, but the Pontiac wheels look good on it now with the bias ply tires. Mm-hmm. And when I was a teenager, you could not buy the Custom S interior for it yet. Now you actually can, at least buy door panels for it. So it currently has a GTO interior in it, just a kit from back then. But so it was pretty bad with the interior. My grandma's dog had gotten in there one day and had scratched the door panels and just ruined it. Plus, mice over 8 years in the country had gotten in the headliner and into the seat, so it was pretty bad. But so then when I properly restored it in 2008 and 9 at McPherson College, I was a student there, and so properly repaired the rust around the rear windows, which was back here on both sides. And then you can actually buy new studs for the vinyl top trim, so all along here and then back there. And then found 1968 GTO trim, and then that's what all this trim is then here. Yeah, reinstalled the proper vinyl top on it, so that's the original look for that, which I like. Also has GTO tail lights, so the original ones were cracked. So there is some GTO in it currently, but besides the tail lights and the hood, it's all Custom S as far as what it would have been originally. So in high school, after I had sanded it all down and done the body work on it, had to Mako paint it for cheap, and it didn't last too long, so it got pretty faded over that time. And so here's the interior.
So would this be considered an A body? Is built on the same body as the LeMans and GTO?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, just less powertrain. Has a 350 motor, automatic transmission as well, and then just less trim, like around the wheel wells. There's no chrome trim around the wheel wells on the outside, but same body as a GTO or LeMans. Mm-hmm. So the engine.
Yeah, see, when I originally saw this, I saw it from the back, and I was asking if it was a LeMans.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously with the grill, that's different.
Originally had a 2-barrel carburetor, added the 4-barrel to it when I was in high school. Still runs great. Could use an engine rebuild. Hasn't been rebuilt, but those Pontiac engines run very well.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really done too much. I mean, like the firewall could be redone eventually with an engine rebuild. But besides that, obviously the Edelbrock valve covers were kind of a high school thing too back then, make it look more shiny and nice, and air cleaner as well.
So it's had drum brakes.
Yep, four-wheel drum brakes.
Yeah. And then no AC, I see.
No AC. They did actually put a AC from, I believe, Ward's from back in the day, but my parents told me that they had driven it with AC on and with a black vinyl interior and black vinyl top. It didn't help too much. It was just too much for it to overcome.
Yeah.
They took it to like California and Las Vegas and hot, and it didn't do too much for the cooling inside the interior. So I just took it out, and now it's just the typical windows down for air conditioning. My dad's actually the Offutt Air Force Base sticker still on the bumper there, so that's pretty neat. From when he was in the Air Force, and he was stationed in Omaha and then went to Vietnam for a period during the war. So that's kind of a cool relic to the past.
So what's the plan now? I mean, it's
yeah, I mean, just gradually doing things to it over time. Need to replace the rear glass at some point, and then again, I want to rebuild the engine at some point coming up here, and then detail that firewall, get that all looking brand new. And then, like I mentioned, I'll probably, when I have time, kind of redo the interior. It had originally had a bench seat up front. If I can find that proper pattern to get that done. But I mean, mechanically, it runs great. It's fun to drive. These wide-bodied Pontiacs just love the highway and going down the highway.
Yeah. If anything, they're almost a little bit soft.
Yep.
At least my Chevelle's that way.
Yep.
When I was going through the hills on the way here, it was bouncing a little bit more than I'd like, but it's comfortable.
I'll probably go back to radial tires at some point. These look good, but radials would have more of a easier drive on the highway too. But these authentic Firestones do look the part as what it was then back originally. But yeah, I mean, this car is what made me love cars. I loved muscle cars growing up, so GTOs and Chevelles and Dodge Chargers, and so that's kind of what me got into restoration and loving it. And so over time, my tastes have evolved to more pre-war stuff and more European stuff now, but I'll always have a soft spot for muscle cars and Pontiacs of this period. So
you've done well with it. It looks great.
Thanks. Yeah, as long as, I mean, this paint is 13, 14 years old, and as long as you just keep it inside and keep it wiped down.
Is it lacquer?
No, it's a base coat, clear coat.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I painted it in August of 2009, and then just spent the whole winter wet sanding and cutting and buffing it. So it took a while, but that effort paid off because it held up very well with a PPG, base coat, clear coat.
No, it looks great. Any fun stories? Anything you did that you should have been arrested over?
Ran a couple red lights in high school, not meaning to, but with my buddy Jesse, just being high schoolers and being distracted by things. But haven't gone, too fast, probably 90 or 100, haven't gone too reckless with it. Always tried to keep it, driving it responsibly. But interestingly, my dad was more of a mechanical guy, and I was always more the cosmetic guy as far as paint and interior work. So that's kind of what I steered towards. And the car shows would always kind of look more towards interior work and paint work, and he was more of the tune-up and mechanical one. So I like getting greasy once in a while, but I'm more so the work on the interior and cosmetics a lot, more of my side of things. So just a fun car to take out, drive around locally, and haven't done too many long trips. I want to do a long trip at some point. Be kind of a fun road trip car to go for long distance, but drive it to work once in a while and take it out on Sunday once in a while. And
I really like that color.
That silver and black go well together.
Yeah.
And so it was painted blue, I think in the late 70s, and then so we called it old blue for when I was growing up, so that's why it's been called Old Blue for a long time, but now it's back to its silver. And then I painted it, actually Dodge Viper Red was the Mako color. It was painted in 98, but wanted to bring it back to its proper color when I properly repainted it in 2009.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing the time with me. It was tough to get together, but
Yeah, it
I
was.
appreciate
It's
you.
good to
taking
talk
the time.
about it. It's
Yeah,
kind
you
of
picked the perfect night.
Yep, nice night, and got it cleaned up recently, so it's shining good and everything.
I always tell people, say, don't worry about the dust. The people that watch my channel love dust.
Yep, I tend to actually like kind of that patina and stuff on cars, and
Yeah,
they've been used that way, and they're not pristine.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, Eric.